Hello, everybody. I am Ann King, and I am very pleased to be hosting Dr. Kathy Chapman for a one-day workshop at my hypnosis center in Boerne, Texas. This coming up Saturday, January 14th, and it is an all-day workshop from 9 to 5:30. Dr. Kathy came out to visit and see my new facilities the other day, and we had the opportunity to visit for a few hours. I find her so very interesting, and the modalities she incorporates so fascinating, all very mentally stimulating, and I thought it might be nice if you could meet her via video and she could tell you in her own words what she's offering out here at my facilities. So she's on the line, and I'm just going to go ahead and begin with the questions, if that's all right. So first of all, can you explain, Dr. Kathy, exactly what the body-soul is?
That is an interesting concept that came to me during my meditation, Ann. So think of, and this is kind of a mind benders for some people, but think of the body-soul as actually being the soul of your body. It's the consciousness of your body. We're the soul that inhabits the body. We borrowed this body for a lifetime. But the body soul is the one who is in charge of how our organs function, how our body functions. It's connected also to our subconscious mind. So I will actually help people to connect with the body soul and communicate with the body soul, and asking questions like, well, is there something I need to do for my liver? Is there something that is causing me not being able to sleep well that is going on with my body?
All right. When we visited, you talked some about feelings, and you talked about feelings as if they were actually a thing. Can you explain more about that?
You know, that's something that I've come to learn more about as I've studied energy medicine. So my doctorate is in MindBody Psychology with an emphasis in hypnotherapy and an emphasis in energy-based healing, energy medicine. So when I began to study the whole concept of energy, what I realized is, of course, as we've heard, everything is energy. That includes our feelings. And so, you know, the expression of the tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife? That's an example of energy taking form, and it's like it's a thing. You can walk into a room, and if somebody's just had an argument or there's something really sad, you can feel that energy. You might even be able to identify that it is sadness, or that it is anger, or that it is fear. So that's why I talk about it as a thing. And in this workshop, I'm actually going to also demonstrate it as a thing and teach people how to release the thing of the energy that gets lodged in your body.
All right. Can you give a short description of what mind-body psychology is?
Mind-body psychology is probably the most holistic, way of viewing ourselves in therapy in any type of situation. So for instance, when you think about hypnosis, it is very much mind-body psychology oriented, because you're going into the subconscious mind, and as you work within the subconscious mind, you are also making changes in the physical body. So when you mentioned doing smoking cessation before, when you went in and you were able to program yourself, your subconscious mind, so that you could easily release that. Well, that had an immediate effect upon your body, because it doesn't affect just the whole idea of smoking. It affects all the emotions that are involved within it. So mind-body psychology, even though it says mind-body, it really incorporates the interaction between the mind, the emotions, the spiritual aspect of yourself, and the body. You make a change in one, you make a change in the other, because we're a system, we're not a machine. We can't just, you know, if the shoe breaks, yes, we can get a new shoe. But if our foot hurts, if we break our foot, it affects every part of us. We feel miserable, we're probably grumpy, that sort of thing. So when we work with mind body, that changes it all.
What do you mean, you mentioned a minute ago, the body having a consciousness?
That is another interesting, fascinating thing that I became aware of when I started studying energy medicine. It's also in traditional Chinese medicine, which is with acupuncture. So I'm going to talk from their standpoint of traditional Chinese medicine. What they've discovered, and they're only several thousand years old, right? That they've been doing acupuncture. And the liver has a consciousness and holds anger. And so like you might be able to actually, and you could do that easily through hypnosis and meditation, is to focus on the liver and get in touch with the feelings are there. Well, the liver often holds anger. The pancreas, which is pretty next to the liver, it's kind of a wishy-washy sort of thing. And so you want to try to work with the energies of the liver and the pancreas, because sometimes, believe it or not, the liver can become angry at the pancreas because it's such a wuss. And when you get in touch with those parts of yourself, you can actually work to bring them into balance. And one of the things to be able to teach people is how to talk to your organ. Think about a part of your body that you don't like the way it looks. You might be talking angrily to it, like your hips or something like that. Well, that is sending energy into your hips, and it's not making for a happy camper. So that is why the whole thing of sending good feelings and thoughts work together. It's not just woo-woo stuff. It is actually being upheld now by the research that's coming out.
Right. This is all very fascinating to me, and it all fits together very well with what I've been doing with hypnosis for 30 years. And one of the things I've always said is for every thought, there's a corresponding emotion. And for every emotion, there's a corresponding physiological response within the body. And you're talking about talking to the body and changing. It's all so interesting. Did you want to say anything about the workshop on the 14th, what they can expect or what they can take away from this?
Yes.
After their day with you?
You bet. What you're going to be able to do after being with me is you're going to be able to communicate with your body soul. And you will also be able to locate easily the places that in your body that are not comfortable. So it could be absolute pain. You'll also, if you work with clients, you'll also be able to help your clients do it. And you will learn a very simple technique to actually get in touch with the feelings that are trapped in your body and to be able to breathe that out. So could I give an example of what happened to one of my clients? This was years ago, and she had had pain in her neck for years, and she'd gone to a chiropractor, she'd gone to orthopedist, she'd done everything. So in 10 minutes, basically, I taught her how to focus on the pain in her neck, asked her what it was about, who was it. It turned out to be her son that she was really concerned about. He had an addiction problem. And I taught her how to breathe out that energy, to tell him, nope, leave her alone, and breathe out that energy. And the pain went away. She said the pain went away for about 2 years until she accepted it back again. So that's an example of what you can do in working with clients, and you can do it with yourself.
Right. And I do want to stress that this workshop is not just for hypnotists or hypnotherapists. It is open to the general public, but it's also great for people that work with clients that are not hypnotists, counselors, or maybe massage therapists, or different people that are working with actual clients too. It's great knowledge for them.
It will be excellent, Anne, because when you're working with when a hypnotist has more skills in going deeper within, which was just amazing, and you get to wonderful experiences that way. But somebody like a massage therapist, somebody who is a counselor who works with people who have been abused or even abused children. Children do great with this because they haven't blocked that part of themselves off. And you will be actually able to release things that could not have been released before by simple talk therapy.
Right. And I do remember you were a licensed social worker for many years. And I want to ask you a little bit, something more personal. You were a Catholic sister for 20 years.
I was.
A licensed social worker. And I just kind of like to know about the transition from that world into being a holistic and spiritual healer and coach living now in Sedona, Arizona.
That that was a journey that was totally unexpected on my part, but aren't most of our journeys totally unexpected? I became involved with energy-based healing, and the first part that I learned was called Healing Touch, and it introduced me to, and it wasn't that the program was religious or spiritual, it really wasn't, but as I began to work with people, I began to be in touch with a broader concept of God or spirit, universal energy. I was very, very Christian, very mystical in my Christianity as a Catholic sister. I always laugh. I say, the Catholic Church loves mystics. They just want them to be quiet in the convent or monastery or dead. But they have a hard time when they come out with it, with their mysticism. So in a sense, what you could say is my spirituality grew to a point that it could not be held within the convent, and that's where I ended up leaving.
Okay. But it sounded to me like when I talked to you, you still drew from a lot of what you learned back then, a lot of the things you did, you still drew from some of that, and it wasn't like it just got tossed out the window. Although
not at all. Not at all. In fact, I have a master's in theology from Notre Dame, and I use information from my study of Scripture because there is so much. I'm talking about the Judeo-Christian scriptures. There is so much in there that applies to our lives today. There's a lot of stuff you don't need. But there's, and I'm not talking, I don't want to offend anybody here. I'm really thinking of a lot of the violence that you find in the Old Testament. But when you look at, I think I was mentioning to you, 1 Corinthians 12, 13, and 14, we call 13 the love chapter, that is a basis in a sense of the mysticism that I now participate in. I was involved in the charismatic renewal, and they talk about the gift of prophecy, which we talk about as being like channeling or bringing in inspiration, the gift of healing, which we all use, and things like that. So I still can re-language things for people from a more metaphysical or transcendental kind of way into Christian teaching, because it's all there. It's God's grace.
Yeah. Well, I am truly looking forward to your workshop. I usually have people signing up at the deadline, but we've already got several signed up. I imagine it's going to be very full. And I want to say to anyone out there that is not watching this as a result of a mail out I did or something you did, that you can go to my website, which is hypnosisclasses.com, click the calendar link and click on the title of your workshop, January 14th, and it will give you more information and take you to the registration page. But if this is something you're interested in doing, don't wait till the last minute. I do have a limited space here. So anyway, thank you, Dr. Kathy. I really appreciate this, and I look forward to seeing you pretty soon.
And I'm really looking forward to being with you again, Ann. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.